Hey everyone, welcome back to more StarCraft. I forgot there was a cutscene. Ire's dusty, man. The Zurich Hive cluster near Sion province was destroyed, but the Protoss forces paid a high price for their victory. That's a cool action shot. I really like that. Praetor Phoenix and hero and steward of the Templar was killed during the assault. The Conclave, convinced that their stratagems are winning the war against the Zurich, have let down the guard and turned their attention to personal matters. Oh boy. Adjudicator Aldaris was ordered to find the rest of the wayward Tastar and bring him home to stand trial for his crimes of treason. Now, only a small fleet for protection, Aldaris and the Executor have traveled to the Ashford of Char, hoping that Tastar is still somewhere to be found. Oh boy. The hunt for Tassadar.
Executor, I know that you were reluctant to leave Ire in this dark hour, and that you still grieve for the loss of your comrade, Phoenix. But remember that he lived and died as a Templar. He has reached the Kala's end. There is no greater glory than that. We Judicator are called to look beyond such matters, to ensure the safety and future of our people. It is not the Zerg, but the rogue Tassadar, who represents the greatest threat to us now. If he is allowed to spread the Dark Templar's tainted influence to Ire, all will be lost. We will find him and bring him to judgment. Tassadar claimed that this world was abandoned by the Zerg just prior to the invasion of Ire. Yet I still sense a lingering darkness here. Be prepared for anything, Executor. If there are still Zerg on this world, then they must surely know of our arrival.
Alright, here we go. Oh, cool. High Templar. I'm actually going to save this. Oh, what is this? Let us call this Carbot. Carbot campaign. I don't know why I saved it at the very beginning of the mission. That I misfied. Alright, you're gonna be 2. Alright, so the reason being is that we need to make sure we use the High Templar effectively. As this is going to be okay, we're reducing all damage, great. Alright, come over here. That's like a High Templar too. He's also angry. Alrighty then. I have thoughts about the Protoss campaign, but first, let us try and find Tassadar. Oh, Lord. Alright, this is not going well. Oh man, oh man. This is I don't know. We have lost a lot.
It shall be done. You think as I do.
Oh man, I am.
It shall be done.
Where do we want to go? I think we go this way.
It shall be done.
That Zell is so close to dead. New Gettysburg Spaceport.
You think as I do.
Alright. Okay. Ooh. We have one more Psionic Storm. Let's hope that what we find is manageable.
It shall be done.
One Mulus, I'm less concerned with that. Alright. Just keep moving. Keep moving, keep moving. Alright, I think we made it. Just run, please. And we have one more storm. Hello.
Darius, Executor, how is it that you've come here? I was about to abandon all hope of rescue.
I have come to arrest you and bring you home to Ire to stand trial.
Arrest me? Ire burns at the touch of the Zerg. You travel all this way to arrest me?
Don't let it get to you, man. This happened to me once.
Who is this human, Tassadar?
The name's Jim Raynor, pal, and I won't be talked down to by anybody. Not even a Protoss.
Amusing. Tassadar, your taste in companions grows ever more inexplicable. Executor, prepare to take Tassadar into
Executor,
custody.
wait. I do not know what they have told you about me. But what I have done for Ire. Help me find Zeratul and his Dark Templar. They alone can defeat the Overmind Cerements. Once we have won, I shall gladly submit myself to the judgment of the Conclave.
Unthinkable. You presume that we would side with the Dark Ones as you have? You have gone quite mad, Tassadar.
You shall speak of them with respect, Eldaris. Executor, there is much that I can explain to you. If only you'll help me find Zeratul.
Alright. Bring Tassadar and Raynor to the detail. Alright, so, Psionic Storm is a really good ability to have.
This is Jimmy.
But, I think I'm around the Archons. Here, just so we can say that we've used the storms. Alright, cool. Merge!
Go ahead, Commander.
Oh, cool. So we have a Protest Archon. Pretty nice. So anyways, it looks like it's interesting because in the Terran campaign we had all this talk of like it basically seemed like, you know, Game of Thrones, right? In the sense like, oh yeah, like, you know, the humans are doing their own things, they're the real villains, like they have like these own like internal political struggles that they have to deal with. In like the Zerg and the Protoss, like they're there, but they're more like a backdrop than anything else. And it's funny here, like I didn't even realize this till now, like just playing through the Protoss campaign. You know, I feel a little bit goofy for not thinking of this earlier. But the Protoss campaign is mirroring a lot of the same sentiments. You know, it's like the Protoss is going around, like doing these things, and it's like, oh, like what are the biggest threats in the Protoss campaign? Like, is it the Protoss, is it the Zerg? It's like, it's themselves. Like, I mean, I think you could make an argument that, like, oh no, it's like the Zerg, and like, okay, fair enough, I get that. But there's so much like eternal conflict, and like reading this, it seems just like, you know, like politics. Like,
Anytime you're ready.
you might say like, oh, Aldaris is pursuing Tastar because he truly believes that he's the greatest threat, and like I think that's one interpretation of him, but it almost seems like he's pursuing a political agenda. Like he's pursuing Tastar simply because like, they don't like him, or that he represents change and they're afraid of change. And, you know, we as humans, like, we're very resilient to change, I think, even though in some cases change can be very good for us. It is not something that we flock to, which is very, you know, interesting, but I mean, it's just human nature. So, like, and same thing here, Tastar represents change, and then you have these Conclave members who are not super receptive to the idea, and like it could be for a number of reasons. I think one of interpretation of it is that they're not interested in the change because that's like a threat to the hierarchy, because right now the Conclave are on the top of the totem pole, and if they change, or if they embrace the change that the Tastar might bring about them, like say for example, like accepting the Dark Templar, that could threaten their livelihoods, because then they may not be at the top anymore, and it makes sense that they wouldn't want to lose that because they enjoy being at the top. Like, I think that's pretty... I don't know if we should have gotten an extra gateway. That was a mistake. I got it while we were thinking about it. So, but then, like, you see, like, you know, that happen, it's like, oh, that seems like a similar sentiment that we see in today's politics. Like, the more I think about the StarCraft 1 campaign, or like just going through it again, I see a lot of, you know, political struggles, and whoever wrote the story of this game, like, I think it makes sense, like, where they got the influence from. They all they had to do was look at real world politics, and they, boom, like the story basically writes itself at that point. And I guess for me, like, that's why I enjoy it so much, because I actually do enjoy the politics behind the game, or like just like politics in general. Like, not that they're necessarily a lot of fun to be a part of. Like, I think, you know, in today's society, politics cause a lot of frustration, and I think rightly so, because they have a big impact on people's lives. However, for me, they're just so interesting, and I can't really put my finger on it. I'd have to think about why I think, you know, politics are so interesting. And I guess what's interesting for me, at least in the context of the StarCraft campaign, is that it's not necessarily clear-cut. Like, it's not black and white. Because they might be like, oh, well, they don't say that, like, oh, the Zerg are obviously the evil guys, and the Terran and the Protoss are working together to eradicate evil. It's like, well, no, like, here, even in, like, the Protoss campaign, we have, you know, two different sides of the Protoss butting heads, you know, and I would say that Tastar has pretty heroic motivations. Like, Tastar's, you know, very straightforwardly the hero, and like even in the Terran campaign, like, Jim is also what I'd say, like, a hero. Like, he's the protagonist. Sorry, not protagonist, but, like, you know, if he's on a D&D alignment chart, I'd put him on good. And then, like, Manx and his friends, like, they're, like, evil. Or at the very least, they don't have the interests of, you know, their subjects at heart. Like, they're interested in just, like, gaining more power. Which is, I guess in that case, is a little binary about good and evil, but, you know, still interesting to me. And then also, as well, even though the Terran campaign might be, I guess in that aspect, like black and white, it was still interesting to me that you had like two different facets of the human. Like, it explores different sides of the human nature, right? Like, you have someone who's like, oh, I just want to do the right thing. But then you have someone who's like ambitious for power. And then even like for the Protoss, you guys say like that, you know, the Aldaris and the Conclave, they're evil. But I think the way the game sets them up is that they're not necessarily evil, they're more just misguided. Like, you know, I presented the idea earlier that maybe they're pursuing Tassadar out of like self-interest because they don't want to lose power. Like they're playing it from the Manx angle, where it's like, oh, I want complete control over the sector. It's like, well, I think in this case, it might just be like they're truly misguided. Like they think that they're winning against the Zerg because like they have like they're arrogant. And I think that's the thing about the Conclave, like they're arrogant, so they think they're winning, but really they're not. But they think like, oh, this is like, you know, the best way to go about business, even though that might not necessarily be the case. You're going to scout. It's very nice that the game's produced along for a very long time. I just want to see if there's like another piece of the we should probably look and gain some Templars. And I think there's a red Zerg base that I might try and eradicate before going into business. That's right. That is a lot of Hydralisks, so we don't really want to go there then. May as well ramp up production. Perfect. So in the Protoss campaign compared to the Terran campaign, it's more like, well, yeah, like you can even say the Conclave are good guys too, just based on their actions, depending on how you want to take it, right? So like, you still kind of have like good versus good. Whereas the Zerg campaign, by contrast, they've been mostly just on the same team. Like, at least here in StarCraft 1, I think if I were to rank the StarCraft 1 campaigns, Terran's my favorite, followed by Protoss, followed by Zerg. If we were to go by just strictly like story narrative, if we were to like factor in the gameplay, I think my answer would change a little bit. Yeah, I think, okay, this is where we're going to go. Yeah, I think we're going to pummel that, the base. Yes. 2. Zealots, it'll be a great time. Archons are very strong, so it should be pretty straightforward, I would think. Man, Templars can really eat that too. I think this is our only base as well, unless we, you know, take out red. Which we really don't have to do, but I want to do it. So talking again from the story perspective, it's like in the Protoss campaign and the Terran campaign, there's maybe not necessarily shades of gray, but there's different motivations for the races. Like, they seems how do I want to say it? I guess for me, it explores more interesting themes. Only the best way I can put it. where the Zerg campaign, like, not so much. Like, they didn't feel like there was like Zerg versus Zerg conflict, and I'm not counting the whole like killing Zaz's brood. Like, that's like whatever. Like that's just something that happens. I think we're getting a big enough strike force here soon. We're gonna roll out soon. They seem pretty unified in their goal. Like I know I'm talking. I don't really have like concrete thoughts for this, but it's, like, 'cause I think I'm just kind of like, you know, stumbling around trying to figure out why I'm not too big on the Zerg campaign, at least from like a narrative perspective. And I think it's just like the characters aren't that interesting because they seem pretty straightforward. Whereas like for the Protoss campaign, like, yes, like I get Tastar's motivations, and the Terran campaign, yes, I get Jim Rayner's motivations, but Manx and he has attack. Nice. Manx has very different motivations from Jim Rayner, but then also like you have like Duke and stuff too. Like you have all these like these characters and they're human, and like they like that's very relatable. So, I mean, like, yeah, like they're humans. So what else is new? But that exists in real life. Like we have that those kinds of things occur, and then same thing for the Protoss. Like even though like they're an alien race, their characterization isn't that outlandish or that different. But then also like it allows me to speculate on their motivations. Like even for Aldaris, we had, you know, one interpretation of it, but then also I was just like earlier just saying like, well, what happens if, you know, he's really acting this way? Once Shield's done, we will go ahead and smack some Zerg. Actually, he's gonna finish up right away here, right? No, maybe not. Man, we spent a long time macroing. Hopefully that was interesting throughout the whole time. Just talking about the campaign stuff. And I think for me, like, Brood War becomes a lot more interesting, at least for the Zerg perspective, at least from a narrative standpoint. But we'll get more into that as we get there. But I think for that campaign, there's a lot more fodder to keep things interesting. Alright, wait for your friends. I hope not all the blues out sky. Those queens are heckin' obnoxious. Oh yes, go ahead, Archons. Woo.
Warriors have engaged the enemy.
Alright. I think we broke the Zerg. And pretty easily on that too. That really wasn't much of a fight. I mean, this is a, you know, the fun of attacking in overwhelming numbers. We could, you know, annihilate far of these many numbers. Alrighty then. We didn't even lose a single Archon. So let us now go back to where we came. Hold on, is there another... There's gotta be another base somewhere. let's get to the bottom of this. I'm very curious if there's more Zerg. I feel like there's another Zerg base somewhere, right?
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. For combat.
Get out of there! Ah! I mean, I think we owe it to ourselves to know.
Additional pylons. Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Alright, we can also do another round of Templars.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
We need more pylons, though. Get out of there. Get destroyed.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Additional pylons. Thus I serve. Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Alright, it doesn't really look like it is. Is there a base? Unless I'm... Oh, well, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Oh, we could look to the left.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Alright, well, nothing up here. Fascinating, alright.
Warriors have engaged the enemy. Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Okay, there's nothing like there's a way. Oh, actually, hold on. Is there a base here? Go take a look, see. No, I think that's gonna be it for the Zerg.
Under attack.
I am very curious as to where
We are under attack.
the Zerg presence may be. So we're gonna clear out the map. Because how are we still getting attacked?
Your warriors have engaged the
Alright.
enemy. I long for combat.
And we're gonna send those two zealots to scout.
My life for hire. My life for additional pylons.
Okay, looks like they can't
What now calls?
get there.
Your warriors
Yeah.
have engaged
Okay,
the
looks like
enemy.
there isn't anything.
House. Annihilate. I long for combat. What now calls? Isatu.
Okay, the only explanation I would have is
My life for hire.
there was something there, but
Hire. House.
it doesn't seem like it's in the case. Alright, well. Unless they spawn via trigger, but. Okay, well, I guess that's it then.
Anytime you're ready.
Let's roll.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Eradicate. House. For
Alright, let's hotkey you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Go ahead, Commander.
6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Alright.
I hear you.
Rainer here.
Your will?
This is Jimmy.
Yes, Executor?
Anytime you're ready.
Oh my.
House. For Adun. What now calls? For Adun.
Okay, I have to know. Black sheep wall. Interesting. Yeah, okay, so there was nothing. And eradicate everything.
Yes, Executor.
Okay, well, looks like we're gonna be absolutely fine. I don't
Yes,
see the.
Executor.
He's killed one thing.
Your life or ours, no pylon.
Alright, well, that's gonna do it for that mission, I guess. Hey, thank you as always for listening to me ramble about whatever. It's been a good time. I've been a little bit tired, so I don't know if my sense made, or my thoughts made any coherent sense, but here we are.
I hear you.
Go to the beacon task star, thank you.
You have my thanks, Executor. Now let us find Zeratul and speed our way home.
Great, sounds like a plan. We are victorious. Woo! Elapsed time 5 seconds? That's not right. Alright, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Till then, goodbye!